Friend come, how did you know? How did you know that this is what she needed? And the answer that he gave was very simple, very beautiful. He say that first, as he go, he saw that she's very, very into her own thing, into her own misery. She lost her husband and how depressed she was, and she was seeing only that. Second, the only thing that he saw that have life in it, have prana, was a warm house, and he saw that raising flower was giving her a sense of meaning. So once she did something with this sense of meaning and did something for other people, he knew it's going to change her, and that worked. And just another little story, which is a bit more spiritual, that emphasizes this. There is this story about this person who came to a famous rabbi in Brooklyn named the rabbi from Lubavitch, the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And that person say, I don't know what to do with my father. He got a heart attack, and from that moment he's in hospital. He's very depressed. He doesn't need to do anything. He doesn't eat. He lost 20 kilos. I'm afraid he's going to die soon. What can you do? Can you help him? So what the rabbi from Lubavitch say to him? What did your father did before? He say, oh, he was an accountant. So ask him, do you have a business? He say, yes, I have a business. Tell him that you have a problem with a business. Your accountant can't do it. If he can do this thing for you. And he said, you crazy rabbi, he is barely moving. He's totally depressed. He had a heart attack. What will I give him to do work? Is that what will help him? So the rabbi told him, just do what I tell you. And 2 weeks later he come and he's so happy and he said, my father is back in the house. He's so happy. I don't know how it worked, but he's just miraculously healed once I gave him this task. I would get depressed from this. I don't understand how it worked for him. I say, well, your father's main problem was that he felt he's not good for anything anymore. The moment he felt he's good for something, that's what made him healed. And I think that's a very important point. And so Karma Yoga is a lot about this. It's about being good. Make us feeling we are good for something. And that's one of the amazing things of living in community, that in community, there is a moment which you integrate, and then you really feel you are living for something greater than yourself. And it's not really important. It can be in your army unit. People there go to the army and they are in a unit. Sometimes 4 people, sometimes 10 people. They feel, they describe, they are become happy, and they say why sometimes when it's explored, because there were a few, three more, 4 people in the team. The life were dependent on them. They had some meaning, and so on. So it can be in any connection, but especially if you are in a spiritual community, that can make a big, big difference. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about how we want to bring this compassion and karma yoga into far more specific resolution. And I want to talk a little bit about, because I mentioned before the hero journey, and I want to talk a little bit about an organization or a community from the standpoint of the hero journey. And then how specifically we can apply karma yoga in this respect. So an organization, usually if you take the idea of the hero journey, and actually there was a very famous organization consultant called Adijas, and he split organization or community to 4 types of people or 4 types of functionalities. And according, to Jung, there are 4 heroes. They are called the warrior, the king, the lover, and the wizard, which are 4 functions in life. And that represent 4 types of strategies, of living or managing as well. So in a community or an organization, you always have the guy who is like the administrator, the CEO, the boss, the community leader, the one who set the goal, the rules, the one who have the vision, the one who decides what's going to happen, that guy, or that people, or that community, or that group, or whatever, that circle, always this function. And then you have the second level, which is the people who make things happen, the people who create results, the people who are, the officers or the commissars of the organization. They are the supervisor. This is actually the warrior kind of thing. The first one was the king. This is the warrior. People who produce things. The king have decided that we, gonna plant 100 rows of tree today, and then there are these warriors that sit and make sure that everybody do what they have to do. The king decided rules that nobody in a community, for example, will, be inside a room without shirt, even though it's very hot. There are the people who put people down if they do it. So that's kind of the warrior type of role, and so on. So then the third level is called the entrepreneur, or the guy who comes with ideas, the guy who comes with initiatives, the guy who think about how to do things in a better way. And this is, sometimes it has to do with the CEO, but it's not necessarily. A lot of time it comes from other people, like the consultants, or simply people who have ideas, who have thing or offer something in a community, like the guy who offered the yoga, the guy who offer a course, the guy who offer a new thing, how to do things better. It can come from any level of an organization or of a community. And lastly is the lover. The lover who is the one who brings the joy, happiness, the excitement, the fun of living, in a way. So, for example, a community can fall into this like army model in which you have very strong this warrior and the king, which means it's all about throwing orders from above. It's all about following them and micromanaging people to do them. But this kind of organization will have usually a bureaucracy. It will be very hard to make change. If somebody comes with a new idea, it's very hard to bring this idea in. And it will not have the lover. The lover will be suffocated. It will be kind of sad place. It will become a place which, I don't want to be here. It's all about, you have fear. Oh, if I do something wrong a little bit, the end, people will admonish me. I am afraid to express myself. I'm living like a soldier, and I'm not having fun. I can't even connect with other people because there's no, the atmosphere. It's atmosphere of fear doesn't allow connection. So people cannot last in an organization very long unless they have to. It's not a very good idea to have this imbalance. But you can have also an imbalance of a place which is like very much like the lover and the, I don't know, entrepreneur. Like if you go to a Burning Man festival, a place where a community of artists, you see it's like organized chaos. Every day they change the ideas. Every day everybody do whatever you want. And it's kind of a lot of fun, a lot of party, a lot of interesting thing, a lot of thing. But sometimes they say, oh, but what do? We just did talk and we just have, I don't know, dance, but we didn't do anything efficient sometimes. So that's the other side of the coin, when it's just about some organization, for example, they have this idea that they want to be very popular to the employees, but nothing really happened outside. The organization doesn't do what it's supposed to do because it's all about inner politics and everybody has to be pleased and this kind of ideas like this. So the organization will not be balanced if one power will dominate. If it's like a lot of high-tech companies, startup companies, they have a lot of this entrepreneur, a lot of ideas, but before something gets to be done, they change the course because they have new ideas. So that also makes inefficiency. So it's a lot about finding the balance. And you can see yourself inside an organization. Where do you go? For example, what is your tendencies? Some people have these tendencies to be kind of kings. Even though they are not the CEO, they're a CEO or whatever, they can have this tendency to tell people all the time what to do and to see, oh, he doesn't do that right, he doesn't do this right. That's actually this game of it's called the tyrant. When the king is not coming from the right position of really make the organization better, and you have to be very careful, it can easily become into like a tyrant, or the opposite, which is kind of the weakling. So I can either play like, or the person without the spine. So I can either be like this person who telling people what to do, and I can also be the guy who doesn't listen to himself and, oh, they told me to do this and that, so I have to do this and that all the time, and I don't think for myself even that this and that can be bad. In a way, it can be a wrong idea, it can be a wasteful idea. So I don't have the power to stand when it's wrong. In the army, it's very easy when a lot of soldiers get the point, oh, you do have to do this, and it's bad idea, and then they are regretting it all their life. But it can happen also in any organization and community, these things. A leader there's like a leadership power, like in Osho Puna kind of commune, and some people went with that leader who become kind of crazy, but they were, oh, I have to do what he say to me. It's his order in a way, and then I regret all my life. And people got to murder in the spiritual community, doing murder attempts. So when I'm see myself, for example, having this energy of the king, I have this idea that I really into sometimes organizing people beyond what I need. And sometimes, for example, it will come in the terms of all the time criticizing people. So one of the great ways to skill to how to criticize a person in the right way, it's called compassionate feedback. And how compassionate feedback works? It's a very big difference than, oh, wow, you yawn near the food, so you are very bad and you have to really watch your mouth all the time, and a person you own, I don't know, couldn't really control it so much in that moment, then to come to a person and tell him, for example, start with a compliment. Listen, you are really great, and I know you try to serve the organization very well or the community very well. And actually, I know that even your intention when you cook is very good, but when you yawn like this, germs are spread. And I'd be happy if next time you be more mindful, because it can make everybody sick. It's very different than, you should not yawn in the, I don't know, in the kitchen, whatever. And some people who like this game of admonishing because it's given power and we have to watch ourselves, they really like this you are wrong and I'm right type of thing, and then it creates escalation and it creates passive aggressive kind of idea. Now the person will yawn just to make a point because he doesn't like to be told off and to feel little. So the idea is really how to do things that make person to cooperate and doesn't trigger this ego versus ego. And people who are like dictators are looking for these power positions, or they take them even when it's not a position, because they feel good when they are doing it. And then you have to really watch if you feel good or it's really what you need to be done in this certain point and how to do it. So then let's go to the warrior. The warrior can become, he's very good sometimes because he's disciplined, he's doing what he's told, he's efficient. But he can go on the level of being masochistic, which means, I don't know, I work twice as much as other people because I can do it, and I will not eat, if everybody eats just vegan, I will eat vegan and raw, and also in the raw I'll eat only 3 things that are very sattvic, and then I eat only 2 things, and that's kind of, sometimes it's good, but a lot of times it's just kind of this masochism. I'm murdering my own inner child, and I think I'm very holy, a lot of in spiritual, that guy, he meditates 15 hours a day and he eats only 2 carrots and he's like sitting only on like, he doesn't use even a pillow. He's so holy and enlightened. Sometimes that guy murdered his own inner child. He's just building huge ego. And sometimes you come to him, can I come to your monastery? You say, if you're willing to suffer like me, yes. If not, get the hell out. If the kitchen is too hot for you, get the hell out. Like this kind of people actually create huge ego and they don't even understand that. And they can come in a community, well, these people that don't even eat vegan if they go outside, why will they here? These people who don't even have a spiritual practice, why are they here? These people who can't even follow the rule, exactly why they're here? These people who get tired of 1 hour of, I don't know, tree planting, why are they here? That's kind of this masochistic, sadistic warrior type, which becomes totally uncompassionate, and then it's also sadistic, and this sadism will come out somewhere or another, and you can't listen. If a person doesn't follow his standard, he's inferior, and then he kind of push him more, and usually it will create, again, something which is not a good idea, and especially when the thing get tough, and people, I don't know, situation is hard, these people tend to be even harder. When the thing get tough, the tough get tougher. Yes, that's if you are a warrior, but not everybody have the role of being a warrior. Some people have to be the lover of the organization, and only warrior organization is extremely sad organization usually. So a lot to do when you have this ultra warrior type of thing is first watch, do you get sensation of importance and ego when you conquer another goal? I eat raw for 4 weeks now, and I don't even mingle with the people because they are too inferior to me, or I don't like people, or this weakling, or I talk with only 2 people because they seem to be worthy of my respect, or something like this. And if people are not as tough as me, they better go out. Like you are also an exclusion, you are not in the path of compassion. The path of compassion is inclusion, accept people who are weaker, accept people who have different goals in the organization, being able to embrace, being able to bring warmth. You do something wrong. You're on the level of this sadistic and masochistic type of landscape. And actually you can think you are very spiritual because you meditate 15 hours a day. Only your ego benefits from these 15 hours a day of meditation, because it just builds this idea, I'm so special. Whatever you do, 10 hours, 7 a day, it's just the idea of I'm so special. And it's really, there is the story of the father of the desert. There was a guy who was very good in fasting, who was even called the faster. Everybody were, he can fast 40 days and and then he come to a teacher, and teacher tell him, now don't tell anybody when you fast. And the moment he didn't tell anybody that he's fasting, and he had to actually appear like he's eating, it was very hard for him to fast. And he asked him, how come? He said, because before you were fed through your ears, your ego was feeding when you didn't eat. And now it's real fasting. Now we fast for God. So that's a very different, and a lot of us doesn't make the distinction. So we have to notice, and sometimes it's very good to be softer to ourselves, to learn to be kind to ourselves, to learn, because whatever the way we act toward ourselves is the way we're going to act toward others. If you're really cruel to yourself, you can't be really compassionate toward others, and you have to check it. So that's actually very important. Then the third type is the wizard. When somebody is a wizard in an organization, he can come with a lot of good ideas how to do things better. He can have a lot of ideas how to improve things, but if not, he's become like the manipulator. I'll take the bigger part of the melon and I give the other part the smaller part. I will get to the food first, exactly when they have the second, dish in this, in the kitchen. So, that will help me to get more food than the other people. If I will go to the toilet exactly the same time, it will save me, working another 5 minutes and not 3 minutes. Then the mind goes to how to avoid and do as minimal effort and look like you have a lot of effort. And then basically the wizard energy doesn't go to the right place. It can also be the dummy kind of idea. Oh, I don't understand what people want from me, so I'm the dummy. It's also the opposite kind of manipulation. And I'm kind of neglectful, and I just do whatever because I can't understand or I'm not there in my mind. So these both are kind of the ways of the wizard. And the wizard is the part, when it's good, that really understand the idea of karma. So how do you solve it? You understand you don't serve anybody outside. It's not about the organization, it's not about the community, it's not about anything. When you do good thing, you do it for yourself, because it's about planting karmic seed, and only you and your mind knows. And it's only about intention. And then when you really, really have this shift of consciousness from seeking pleasure to seeking planting good karmic seed, because this is where real happiness comes from, then all this good, strong mind of yours coming from manipulating reality into how to serve reality in the best way. And then amazing ideas come. And then you really notice everything that happened. You notice that guy, he like more rice, and that guy, he like more, peanuts and whatever. So you make peanuts and you offer that guy, and you notice that this guy is sad now, and he like to talk about his, hobby of building kites. So you ask him, what about the kites that you told me about, and tell me about it. I actually read a book about it, and you make him happy because you have the opportunity to talk about it. Then all your intellect is actually going to make the world a better place and serving the community and the world in a better way. And that's kind of a big idea there. And the last is the lover. The lover is this employee or this member or this person that has huge enthusiasm. But this enthusiasm can also fall because it's based on emotional aspect. So it's a guy who makes everybody laugh, and he's funny and he's cool and he's friendly and all of this. But he's not necessarily very efficient sometimes. He's not necessarily very mindful sometimes. He's not all of this sometimes. He can also be the dreamer. If it's kind of internalized lover, he's the dreamer, is the guy who kind of dream about doing a lot of good things and having a lot of people and being a very good service to the community or whatever. But it's all in the dream, can't really bring it out because he's kind of living a fantasy. And then the work of the lover is mindfulness. Because the lover always seeks this connection, intimacy with the world. He likes to experience the world really deeply. And you think it comes by huge excitement, which is imbalance, and then going to depression, or just going into the land of dream. But the truth is, when the lover learns to be present moment, to be mindful, to always stay with the body, with always stay with the action, he gets to this new intimacy with life, this new intimacy with everything he do, and then actually he finds satisfaction all the time, and then he actually can moment to moment to find meaning in whatever he do, because the lover can get bored very easy if it doesn't have drama. And you think the drama is only this big story that she loved him and he left her, and they created this huge project and whatever. But no, drama happens every moment if you are sensitive enough. And to be sensitive to the drama of life really, that every moment can be pleasant. It doesn't matter where. I mean, when you go to do a retreat, a Vipassana retreat for a long time, at the beginning everything is boring, but then everything becomes interesting. Even watching your breath is so interesting. It changes all the time. It's warm, it's cold, it's stop, it's hold. And watching your body is so interesting. Watching your mind is everything becomes interesting because you become sensitive to the wonder of moment to moment existence. It's a wonder. Every moment the world is reborn from you, And if you don't live in your mind and ideas and emotional drama kind of thing, and you live in contact with that, you can reach this intimacy with the world. So mindfulness is a very, very important tool. So actually a good community, a good society should have this training of both what is called like non-violent communication, how to pass criticism, how to resolve conflict with before they escalate into a struggle, that actually work of the king, in a way. You want to know how to keep the balance between effort and how to manage it. Again, it's the warrior, it's the non-violent communication. How to communicate with yourself is compassion, with softness, how to ease things, not to make things sharp unless you have to. How to have the right philosophy, the right attitude. That's the wizard, and how to be mindful and be present, and that's basically the lover. So that when they all come together, you can create amazing community and you can actually learn the most. And this is not just a theory, which means to really bring the thing down, there has to be some kind of a way that you can remember to apply them in daily life. So usually it's about starting the day with a meditation. When you develop, mindfulness, you watch your body, your thought, everything, and you cultivate love and kindness at the end of this meditation. You start the day with this thing, with this intention of gratitude, of today I'm going to serve the world better. Today I'm going to create more good karmic seeds, plant more good karmic seeds, so I will have a happier life when it will come back to me, basically. Today I'm going to really do good, depends where you are, because that's the right thing to do. That's the intention. And then you want to apply it. During the day, you can ask yourself, check with yourself, do like this check-in, for example. That's me, mindfulness. Am I acting like a selfish bastard now, or am I thinking about other person? Do I choose the biggest fruit, or do I give the biggest fruit to somebody else? Am I now manipulating so I can have a bigger break, or do I take even the break from somebody else who's really exhausted and I do work for him, and so on. And actually, when you do it in a sincere way, when you implement to the day, there is even a way to do it. Sometimes it's called like having a spiritual diary, in which you check in the diary every like few hours, 2 hours. How was I? And I can take even a specific concept. For example, today I'm going to work on connection. Where my connection are beneficial and come to benefit other people, where my connection is like sucking energy from other people, and they're not necessary. So I go through the day, every 2 hours I check the way I'm handling this subject of connection today. Tomorrow it will be generosity. When I'm acting out of generosity, when I'm acting out of feeling of security, of having less, of not having enough, and then I kind of try to keep to myself or something. And every day you can take one subject and even measure it through the day, and it's actually great at the end of the day or even the work of the week to kind of share with other people who do the same. When you share with other people, it becomes from just something for yourself, something which is collectively. So when the collective subconscious of a community work on a specific issue and share it, first there is much better connection between the people, because they kind of feel like they know each other, they can share something intimate with each other. They do also the synchronizations, they all work on a specific thing, so it's kind of synchronized. They teach each other, they meet each other in a situation which makes them learn about the things. So if today is about, patience, there'll be some conflict, but when I have the skills of conflict resolution, wow, I'm not, why do I have to fight with this guy? No, wow, I have an amazing opportunity to use the skill of conflict resolution. And the other, wow, I have a great opportunity also to check the skills of conflict resolution. And then we are talking in the right way and we both learn from it. So basically, when it's become a community thing, it's much more powerful and it creates much more powerful bonding within the community. And it's all skills that we can learn. So I think that's more or less what I want to talk now. If you have questions or something, it's good time. Wow, so either we're all asleep or that I was so clear and perfect and amazing and sharp. So well, probably was too boring. I probably all fell asleep. But yeah. Yes, there is a question. Thank you for saving me from these extremes.
It's actually because I was sleeping when you tell it. About the king, I missed the part about the king.
The king?
Yeah. So if you don't mind to repeat.
The king, the idea of king is that the energy as a management is like the administrator. and it can become very remote. It's like the officer that you have to do like this, and he's very important, and you are very far from him. He's big and you are low, and he tell you this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you do, and you feel like, that kind of the king in the bad way. The king is also sometimes bureaucracy. There is nobody to talk with, but set of laws, and people who kind of, you break this law, you break this law, this is how we do it, and it's very rigid. And I don't know, I want to make a peanut butter for people in the community, but then they come the person responsible for the kitchen, no, you can't do it, I have to ask another person. And so wait. And then that person say, we have to ask another person. And that person, only if you do it this and that. And only if you do this and that. And then eventually, I have no energy to do it. That's kind of the bad king, which is like about control and about creating limitations and kind of like slowing down the organization, make it something kind of solid. In the armies, they like people to walk, everybody in the same line kind of thing, so that the energy will make all the organization become like something solid, but that make it also not flexible. So the good king, the good energy of the king is actually the king who have the vision of the organization, but he's very compassionate and he can see. It's like, always like Jesus, or this, like a lamp guarder, like the sheep herder, is the one who actually see everybody in the organization and feel the spirit of the organization, and he creates this atmosphere actually of love and vision. He inspires people to do the right thing. He doesn't command people to do the right thing. It's a very big difference. And it's easy to fall into this king for people who have actually lack of self-confidence. So then they have this role that makes them feel important and confident. I'm the, long-term in the organization, manager, administrator, whatever. So now I'm going and look for people to admonish today. And and always you find something wrong. When you are looking to find something wrong, you always find something wrong. So you go all day and make people feel like they're not good, and it makes you feel I'm so important because I'm above and they're below, and I give them like this. But that actually doesn't help the atmosphere of the organization. Everybody are afraid, everybody feel judged, nobody wants to really cooperate now. So that's actually the bad energy of the king.
Can you develop more the good way?
In the good way, is the king is the person who is really having a vision of the organization or the community, and he inspires everybody to follow it, because he's living it by example. There's a very big difference between a person who, he tell people, you shouldn't eat after 9, but because this is much better for you, and this community will not eat after 9, and he put his officer to look for, then the person who say, listen, I want to encourage you all to live a healthier life, and I decided to stop eating after 9, and everybody who want to join me with that, we can meet every day at 9 when we give up our food for today and strengthen each other. So you are a leader, you are not just an enforcer. And a lot of people like to enforce, they make some rules, only because they know some people will not follow them, so they kind of find them and admonish them and feel strong about it, And then they make rules when they don't need to as well, and become like a whole restriction kind of mentality. And then you're kind of afraid to breathe, because there will always be something wrong in what you do. So that's not a good king. And it can come in every level. Some people are, are very low in an organization, but they can be really attached to this king energy. So they always find how somebody is wrong, and then become the second to the king. They always whisper, he's doing this to the manager, he did something wrong, he's like kind of a guy like this. It's a very low type of way of getting power. I cannot feel powerful, but I associate with the most powerful goon in the party, with the bully. And then it's really kind of sad to see it, that you are so desperate to feel important. And you have to watch it. Even when you do it in a gross way, subtly we sometimes do it. Subtly we sometimes happy when somebody got caught or he was told off. Instead, when we really think somebody do something wrong, which happens, a lot of us do something wrong, there is a way how to reflect it, a way which will not create resistance, a way which will help the person understand that the person never does something because he's bad, or mostly not because he's bad, but first get to the assumption the person does do it because he's unmindful, because he has some resistance, because of something, and then you can talk with him and listen, when you do this, it actually creates that effect. And I wish you never criticize the person being, only what he does. It's not that you are bad. What you did is a bit bad, or it can look as bad, or is neglectful, or whatever, it's mindless. And when you do it, this is what happened, or this is what you make me feel. And I wish you to do it in a different way if you can. that come in a very different way and create a very different energy between these people. Actually, it brings people together, especially if you also can recognize the person's value and give him like a sincere compliment. Listen, I see you are actually a great cook, and I see how much love you bring to this community. But when you, I don't know, just for pick your nose in public, it makes some people feel, disgust. And if you can be a bit more mindful about that, that would be amazing. It will come differently than I come to you. Listen, you are savage. You savage. What did you learn in school how to behave? I'm giving it to the extreme, but just telling him, you're picking your nose. That's bad, huh? It's gross. That's not a good way to create cooperation. People are passively, aggressively will resist it, actually. So that's the idea. There is a lot of idea. It's a whole big thing, but just to give a little tiny idea. And whenever there is something which is not met, and in certain situations, different balances are needed. And the kings feel the organization. The king has to feel the organization. He's the soul, he's the heart of the organization. So you see, for example, if it's too much warrior mentality, I don't know, it's really hot, and the community is really suffering a lot. So you not give more rules to make everything okay, and people can't come to do their, karma yoga or something, or you will not just give more rule and wake up people 5-10 minutes before and shake them to come do the work. That just creates more alienation. He will make people feel easier. He'll create, he'll use the fridge and give people cold water after the seva. He will, make people having maybe less time of seva, or even earlier, but stop earlier, be colder time. He will find a way to make people actually feeling easier. He'd bring the lover, make people, buy some small treats that he doesn't usually have, and give during the seva. So people will be happy, we have a little comfort here. You will find tricks to make the lover energy comes more. So that's actually the king role, to keep the balance. But for example, if the king himself of an organization is not, or community is not balanced, let's say he's very much a warrior, so he doesn't know what's the value of the lover. He actually sometimes put lover into content. Oh, I don't want weaklings in my community. If people, it's too hot and too hard for them, let them leave, something like that. So that's, you missed half the people, then everybody leave, or just this really sadistic warrior start, masochistic warrior start, and then you cannot really do the goal of the organization. Let's say you have a community of planting trees, like in this, and you have only 5 people left in the community, so maybe they are very good in planting trees, but as an example, if you have 40 people, that maybe some of them are not as effective, but 40 people who plant trees, it will be much more effective as an idea, even though some of them are kind of wimps. But also, when you do something, it's not about planting trees or whatever, it's also the intention, the happiness, the love. If you plant 1 tree less, but with much more happiness and love, maybe this tree will grow faster, and this, you need the lover to be there. People are singing and happy when they do whatever seva, the energy will be very different, So